Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Tiffani Beaston from Beauty and the Beastons, and I upload every single Tuesday and Sunday, so be sure to subscribe and also let me know if you want to see more easy crockpot recipes like this. I fell in love with my crockpot back in nursing school when I just wanted dinner to be ready when I came home, and I was trying to save some money, pay off all my student loans, and do all of that. And that's what led me to loving the crockpot. Plus, it just makes your house smell absolutely amazing, and it's just really nice to get that one thing off your to-do list. So if you can get dinner done in the morning and just have the rest of your day to do other stuff, it is so much nicer. So I will just tell you, every single recipe in this video was delicious. I have a beef stew recipe in this video that I messed up myself because I cooked it on a higher temperature when I should have done it on low for as long as I could. But everything else was absolutely amazing. So this first recipe is a white chicken chili, and it's incredibly easy because you just dump everything in here, top it with some cream cheese, and when it's ready, you go ahead and stir it up and you have your delicious soup. I also will say a tip that I can give you with crock pots is that, you don't want like this mushy all one color meal. So many people have such a bad taste in their mouth about crock pot recipes, but they can be absolutely delicious. So adding some fresh toppings on top really makes a difference. So for example, with this white chicken chili, I'm going to be adding some chives on top. I'm going to, not chives, sorry, green onions on top. I'm going to add some tortilla chips, some shredded cheese, just something else, something to give it that like fresh element. Cilantro, I love cilantro. I know it's hit or miss. Do you like cilantro? Yes or no? You know, Chris used to hate it. He used to say it tastes like soap, but now he actually is starting to come around and like it. So it's just crazy how your taste buds could change. So also with all of these crockpot recipes, I'll have the recipes linked down in the description box below, and underneath I'll tell you what I changed about each recipe just to kind of help you out here. So this one, you guys, I promise you, I promise you can't mess this up. You just put in the proper amount of ingredients, put it on high for 4 hours or low for 8 hours, and it's going to be delicious. Next up is our Tuscan chicken pasta. So originally when I found this recipe on Pinterest, it was like a soup. And I was like, okay, this sounds pretty good because I definitely love sun-dried tomatoes. I love artichokes. Chris was a little sus. He was like, ew, artichokes in a crock pot? Hard no. It also has like a lot of garlic in it, but it's so good. So when I saw it at the end and I was mixing it, I was like, you know what, this would be really good as a pasta. And there was a lot of liquid in there because of course it was supposed to be a soup. So all I did was I added 2 cups of gluten-free pasta. My favorite pasta brand is the Jovial brand. You can get it on Thrive Market. Some grocery stores have it, but it's definitely cheaper on Thrive Market if you have that. But yeah, I added it in at the end, and you'll basically just cook it however long the normal pasta cooking time is. So I added mine in at the last 12 minutes, and it was absolutely delicious. I topped it with some Parmesan cheese, and I even had so much left over that I gave it to my neighbors who also really enjoyed it. So you see we have our onion. I'm also using 6 cloves of garlic. That is an intense amount of garlic, but I love garlic and I'm sure a lot of you do too. If you like less garlic, I'd probably half that and only use 3 cloves. I used a lot more sun-dried tomatoes than the recipe called for because I absolutely love sun-dried tomatoes. If they're not your jam, you can use a little less, but the flavor is just very good on this. Here you go, add your famous block of cream cheese. I swear, I look up crockpot recipes all the time, and I would love it if you guys shared some of your favorite crockpot recipes with me that I can try, but so many of them call for a block of cream cheese. I had to be like, okay, we need to find a recipe that doesn't have a block of cream cheese in it. But this was really good. So you just stir it up at the end. I also added, like I said, the pasta and the spinach at the end, and it was perfect. Next up is our General Tso's chicken. This was insanely good, especially for us because one, we're gluten free. So if you know any gluten free people, please send them to my channel. All of my recipes are gluten free. The only time I make a non gluten free item is if I'm like baking a cake for somebody else in my family. So I usually make all my recipes gluten-free on this channel. I've been gluten-free forever now. So has Chris. I have Hashimoto's thyroid disease, and it's better to not have gluten for that, and also dairy, but I just can't give up the dairy yet. But anyway, if you know anybody gluten-free, send them my way. So this is going to look complicated because I have to make a gluten-free hoisin sauce. All the ones that I found in store have gluten in them. If you are not gluten-free, just buy hoisin sauce, and then this is truly like a very easy dump and go crock pot meal. This is just an extra step, so if this is scaring you, again, just go to the store and buy hoisin sauce. I couldn't because one, not only does it have gluten, but Chris is allergic to sesame. Chris is my husband if you're new here. So I had to make it gluten-free and sesame-free, but it is something that we both really loved before we were gluten-free. So to be able to have General Tso's chicken is, really exciting for us. So I made the hoisin sauce. I'll have that linked down below, but you basically bring all these ingredients to a boil and just let it cook until it thickens up. So you're going to let it simmer. But again, if you are not gluten-free, you're just going to basically throw a bunch of different ingredients into the crock pot and call it a day. One big step for this is probably the hardest recipe in this whole video just because you have to cook the chicken before. Otherwise, it's so easy. You're going to put your chopped up chicken in a little Ziploc bag and mix it around with cornstarch. I use arrowroot starch just to be a little bit healthier, but you can totally use cornstarch. And then you're going to cook it in your pan. What that does, it's going to lock the moisture into your chicken and keep it nice and moist. Or, sorry to everybody who hates the moist word, I know it's like a very big thing. You're going to just like cook it in the pan. It gets nice and brown on the outside, but it'll make it have just like a little bit of a crispier texture to it. Plus, it's going to help your sauce get nice and thick, and it's just something that you can also go ahead and make the night before. Like if you want to make the chicken the night before when you have time and then just throw everything in the crock pot the next day, you could totally do that. But this was worth all of the steps because it was so dang good. Alright, so our hoisin sauce is done. I am just cooking up this chicken. I love this wok. This is a Rachel Ray wok, but it's also great for like stir fries or if you have a big family like we do for cooking a lot of stuff at once when your kids are all actually agreeing on eating the same meal. And then I just wanted to show you that like quick little behind the scenes mom life clip here. I tried to like record Instagram style too so I could make some reels out of these for people who don't have YouTube, or maybe find some new people that will find my YouTube channel from Instagram you know how it is in this content creator world. You gotta be on like every single platform. But anyway, I'm mixing all of my wet ingredients together to make the sauce. There's like honey, so you have that sweetness. There's soy sauce, so you have that saltiness. But this is definitely one of those recipes that you just have to make because you're gonna love it. Also, all of these I usually do, like my rule of thumb is high for 4 hours or low for 8 hours with everything. There's a lot of extra sauce, which is great. We served ours with broccoli and rice, but if your sauce is too watery for you, all you can do is make a slurry, and you can mix cornstarch with water or arrowroot starch with water and pour it in, and then you'll be able to make your sauce a little bit thicker. So now we're on to the beef stew. I was so excited for this because I don't really eat red meat like that. My mom and my one sister and I, we have a problem like processing red meat. It just like kills our stomachs. But once in a blue moon, when I'm PMSing, I could have a fake Wendy's cheeseburger on a lettuce wrap. And that doesn't bother me, but who knows if that's actually even beef. And then this doesn't bother me either. It's more like burgers and like ground up red meat. I don't know why, but anyway, this doesn't bother me. So I was really excited craving this. And the stew meat just was really hard. And I know stew meat is very hard and you got to cook it on low for a long time. I started this recipe too late in the day, and I wound up turning up the crock pot to try to make it cook faster. And what I did was just make my meat really tough. So the longer that you can cook this on low, the better it will be. I'm sure you could also use this recipe with the chuck roast, which is really good. That usually comes out pretty good for me in the crock pot as well. But I'm basically just cutting up all of our ingredients. Of course, we have the classic roast veggies, which are onions, celery, carrots, potatoes. And what's different that I also wrote in the description box about the recipe that I used is that I added a packet of French onion seasoning because I find that a lot of times roast can come out very bland. In the past, I've also added Merlot or beef stews as well as roast. I just feel like, you know, they're basically the same thing except for the stew you use stew meat. But the flavor was really good on this, so I feel like this could be a delicious recipe. You just really got to cook the meat slower. Last but not least is our taco soup. I feel like I do a lot of like enchilada soups, taco soups, crockpot tacos, all of that kind of stuff because it's just really easy to throw in. The toppings for this are really essential. I use some sour cream on top, some tortilla strips. I use green onions, and then of course some like Mexican style cheese. But this is easy. Just throw your chicken in, throw a thing of salsa in, throw a taco seasoning, and then I rinsed all my beans and corn, so it's corn, pinto beans, and black beans, and then just throwing in a thing of diced red tomatoes, some chicken broth, of course, because it's a soup, and that's it. So this was like a mild soup. It's very delicious. I'm actually having it for lunch today, and I'm excited about it. Again, you can add your cilantro to this as well. But if you want it spicier, you can use the diced red tomatoes that have the chilies in it, or you can use a more hot salsa. I just used a mild one, but this is also one of those just super easy and delicious recipes that are great for fall. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you on Sunday, and I'll also be here on Tuesday as well. So again, be sure to subscribe.
Broken, don't ever forget you're golden. I will find the light in your soul.